Good morning, students. Today's topic in business studies, which we are going to start, is the business in the local environment. So concentrate yourself. We have to stuck the business in the local environment. So we are going to start. Many businesses operate at local level. Their market is a local community. These businesses normally buy from businesses in its local area. It uses local building contractors to maintain its buildings. Local business consultants have been involved in training their employees. So these are the points about the business which is doing work in local environment. The next point in the lecture is creating jobs in the community. So there are some points. Number one point is businesses provide jobs for local people. The businesses which are doing work in a local community definitely will provide jobs for the local people. They sometimes employ thousands of the people. Next point is even more workers such as those employed by businesses supplying goods and services to other businesses are dependent for jobs on the success of receiving businesses. So businesses are directly and indirectly responsible for the creation of thousands of the jobs. So these are 2 points. Actually, the first point is they are directly employing some employees in their own business. And on the other hand, they are also indirectly providing jobs to hundred of the people. For example, a business which is providing some raw materials to the business, definitely the jobs of those employees will be dependent on the success of the business to whom they are providing the raw materials. So directly and indirectly, the firms which are working in the local environment are employing hundreds, thousands of the people. So businesses are directly and indirectly responsible for the creation of the thousands of the jobs. Next point is these businesses are also responsible for training workers. So definitely when the workers will work there in the company, they will get trained and maybe the company provide them training courses. So the point is they are responsible for training workers. It gives them skills which they can use for their own company or for other businesses if they choose to change jobs. More skills tend to lead to higher pay. Training creates prosperity in the local community. The next point in the lecture is the demography. Demography is the study of the population. So in this topic, we will study the population which is actually related to the business. So business is affected by the size of the population in a local area and how it is changing. Equally, changes in the business environment could well affect the size of the population. So the point to remember and understand in this topic is population and business are related to each other. Businesses affect the population and population affect the business. So we are going to understand this now. If there is a growth in the population of a specific area, then there will be greater need of the utility services. So the population is affecting the business in this point. Likewise, not all industries are mature or are expanding. The contraction of the steel, coal and shipbuilding industries. So now the business is going to affect the population. So look here, the contraction of the steel, coal and shipbuilding industries had very damaging effect on some areas of the UK. Some people responded to very high unemployment in a local area by moving out. This then creates a downward spiral in the area. If people move out, they stop spending money on the local services like shops and restaurants. Some of these firms will then go out of the business, creating more unemployment. So the point to remember and understand is population affect the business and business affect the population. For example, if there are very good businesses which are growing in an area, definitely people will move in that area. The population will be increased in that area. Those people will require utility services. They will spend money on different kinds of the things, like they will spend money on the restaurant, in the restaurants, in the markets, in purchasing different things. And for example, if the businesses are going down in some area, they are not doing well in some area, the population will be affected. Maybe some families will move out from those areas, so utility services will be less consumed, less money will be spent on those services. So this process is vice versa. The next point in the lecture is industrial tradition. Particular local areas tend to attract certain types of the business. So beta, the point to understand in this topic, first point is particular local areas tend to attract certain types of the businesses. And normally the thing which are actually affected the businesses to attract are normally the weather, the resources the area is having, and etc. So for example, for instance, London is a major center for the financial businesses, attracted by the concentration of the other similar businesses in the city of the London. So if London is famous for the financial businesses, definitely the businesses related to financial services will be attracted in this city. The local workforce is trained in the skills required for the industry. So definitely the people living here or the people who want to move in the London will be skilled in particularly financial services, because there is a lot of scope of the financial services is there. So individuals also have specialized knowledge to allow them to set up new businesses in the industry. Finally, there are many local firms which supply the raw material, and so it is easy to get raw materials and components locally. So definitely the businesses which are located in an area, the things which they require, definitely the companies which are actually able to provide them the raw material will also locate there. So the raw material will be easily available there. Rents are cheaper and parking is easy. Definitely in the local area, rents and parking will be easy and cheaper. Manufacturing industries often found on industrial sites separate from the local housing. Land prices are lower than in the town center. Also, keeping industries separate from housing means that there are fewer social costs of the production. So, the point in this paragraph is manufacturing industries often found on industrial sites, which are actually separated from the local housing. So the industry is normally located in the local in the industrial sites, which are actually far away from the housing schemes. Land prices definitely there will be lower because they are far from the commercial areas. Also, keeping industry separate from the housing means there are fewer social costs of the production. Definitely there will be less pollution, there will be less congestion on the roads, etc. There will be less noise pollution, there will be less disputes of the people. Like, these are actually the social costs which will be far away from the housing schemes, because industry is located in the industrial area. The next point in the lecture is the infrastructure. Infrastructure is the built environment of an area. Other examples of the infrastructure are roads, bridges, buildings, schools, houses, telephone network, electricity lines, and gas pipes. So these are actually the examples of the infrastructure, and infrastructure is very important for businesses. Area with good infrastructure will attract more businesses, and definitely the business will flourish there, and vice versa is also there. The size and the quality of the local infrastructure is important to businesses. For instance, a restaurant would find it difficult to operate if its water supplies were polluted, or if it were without water for part of the day, because for restaurants water is very important. for cleaning, for cooking, etc. So if the water is polluted or water supply is not constant, so definitely that will be a big difficulty for restaurant business in that area. Likewise, businesses would find it difficult to operate if the electricity supply was not reliable. So, electricity supply is also very important for the businesses, and if electricity supply is not reliable, so definitely there will be difficulty for the businesses. Businesses also relies on local schools and universities to provide it with skilled workers. So schools and universities are also very important, not only for their own childs who want to go to schools, but at the same time, schools and universities provide skilled workers, which are very necessary for the local businesses. So schools and universities are very important. It needs local hospitals to treat its workers when they fall ill and get them back to work quickly. So, at the same time, because humans need hospitals and medication, so hospitals and clinics are very important. In the infrastructure, a supermarket store would find it more difficult to get supplies in and attract customers if local roads were severely congested. So, good road network is also very important for businesses, but at the same time, if there is congestion, maybe road network is very good, but if there is congestion, that will create difficulty for the customers, because then customers will be reluctant to go to that firm on the way where congestion is there. So clear, a good road network is very necessary for the growth of the businesses. The next point in the lecture is the environment. So now we are going to discuss the impact which a business is actually have on the environment, on the local environment. So businesses have a major impact on the local environment when it makes decisions about how to operate. It looks at its private cost and private benefits. These are the costs and benefits to the company. So definitely these will be the benefits and costs for particular the company, not for the environment. So for instance, when it bids for a contract, it will bid for, if thinks that the revenues will be larger than the cost, so it can make a profit. So this is quite obvious, this is quite understandable. Private businesses normally bids for the things in which they think the revenues are more than the cost, so they can make profits. They do not think much more for the environment. So this is the quite understandable thing. The next point in the lecture is the local government. In this topic, we will learn and understand how local government affect the businesses. So the points here are: government affects businesses in many ways. The first point is, at local level, businesses have to work with local authorities to get planning permission for new work. So definitely, if a firm want to set up in an area, so definitely the firm required permission from the local authorities. This is the first interaction between the business and the local authorities. Next point is, these local authorities provide the roads which business vehicles travel along. So this is the second point. Next point is, the local police and fire service protect businesses' property. Next point is, local school provides schooling for future employees of this company. Next point is, the local authority is responsible for enforcing consumers protection laws. So these are some points in which local authorities can interact, can affect the local businesses. And lastly, here is a worksheet that is actually from the lecture. Try to solve this worksheet because that will be very helpful for your final exams. So here is the worksheet. These are actually case studies.